So again, going through the King James Bible, okay, this is Romans 3:25, King James Version, whom God hath set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood. Notice the words, through faith in his blood, the propitiation, and this propitiation was to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins. What was the propitiation through his blood? And it was through his blood, through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past through the forbearance of God. Now, these sins that God forbeared for the remission of sins, notice that this propitiation was for the remission of sins, to declare faith in his blood, propitiation through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past through the forbearance of God. And I just had to go on to the next verse because I thought it was important. Romans 3:26. And, so you got 3:25. And you could just go over to 3:26 and read that one. Okay? To declare, I say, at this time, his righteousness, not our own, but God's righteousness, that he might be just, that God might be just, and the justifier of him which believeth in Jesus. Notice that this also defines the word justify. Notice that not all people are justified. To declare, I say, at this time his righteousness, that he might be just, and the justifier of him what? Which believeth. And he doesn't justify everybody, but notice again, it uses the word him which. Not every single person, but he justifies him which. And I hate using the King James because it's sometimes the word which is not as clear as, him which. So he did this to demonstrate his righteousness at the present time so as to be just, and the one who justifies those, which is like which, those who have faith in Jesus. Now you can read it in the King James and it says the same thing. But these people who get hung up on the King James. That he might be just, and the justifier of him which believeth. Of him which believeth. It's very clear. These terms here are not saying that every single person is justified. And according to Romans 3:25, the last verse, for the remission of sins, not all people had their sins taken away, because Christ was the propitiation for our sins. And that's right in the King James, whom God hath set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood, not every person, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past through the forbearance of God. Very clear, very understandable, and no way really out of it. Thank you.